Have you ever really stopped to think about how much of your apartment building is just, well, empty space? Today, we're diving into a really cool, kind of radical new concept called Klein loop microhousing, and it's an idea that could completely flip how we think about city living, all by getting rid of one simple thing, the hallway, right? We just accept hallways as this necessary evil in our buildings. But what if they're not? What if all that empty, dark space is actually a massive, super expensive waste of resources and potential? Get this. In a typical micro-housing building, that's the chunk of the total floor area that's just eaten up by corridors and stairwells. We're talking about space that costs a fortune to build and to light and to clean, but it gives you absolutely nothing back. No social value, no environmental value. It's literally dead space. And this wasted space creates a whole cascade of problems. Traditional designs, they give you those dark, stuffy inner rooms, and of course, those painfully high energy bills. But there's a new concept on the block that could change all of that. See, the Klein loop idea isn't just about building a better box. It's about getting rid of the boxy thinking altogether. It's a total paradigm shift, moving away from that rigid corridor plus unit design to something way more fluid, a sequence of connected rooms and these shared spaces they call pockets. So picture this. Instead of your front door opening onto some long, sterile hallway, imagine it opening into a vibrant, shared space. Maybe it's a little library or a green garden nook. And that space connects you directly to your neighbors. It creates this walkable, social spine that literally brings the entire building to life. Okay, so how in the world do you actually build a building without hallways? It's not magic, I promise. It's just some seriously clever design. And it all boils down to 3 key innovations that work together perfectly. So let's break down how this whole thing works. And we're going to start with the real heart of the system, this thing called the tri-functional pocket. This is where the true genius of the design really shines. So instead of being dead space, those gaps between the apartment modules, they become the building's lifeblood. You can almost think of them as the building's lungs, breathing life into the whole structure and turning what used to be a liability into a seriously powerful asset. And what's really amazing is how these 3 functions just work together so seamlessly. You've got mirrored surfaces that act like periscopes, bouncing natural light deep into the building. The pocket's shape creates a solar chimney effect, which naturally pulls fresh air right through your apartment. And get this, the outer skin is basically a power plant. It's lined with BIPV, that's just a fancy term for solar panels that are part of the wall itself, generating clean energy. It's like a living, breathing machine. The cleverness doesn't stop at your front door either. Inside your actual apartment, a single, flowing piece of furniture transforms to meet your needs throughout the day. It's your desk, then it's your bookshelf, then it's your fold-down bed, all in one. They call it a Mobius ribbon, and it makes a tiny room feel twice as big, without any of the usual clutter. And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle. The apartment modules get stacked, kind of like building blocks, but the shared pockets alternate from side to side on each floor. This creates this amazing, winding vertical street that snakes its way up through the entire building, connecting all the homes in one continuous flowing path. Now, this all sounds pretty amazing in theory, but does it actually pencil out in the real world? Well, let's take a look at the numbers and see how this Klein loop design really stacks up against a regular old building. Okay, the results are pretty staggering. The usable floor area jumps up by over 10%. The natural daylight in those deep inner rooms, it more than doubles. And maybe the best part for the people who live there, energy bills are cut by up to 20%. Let's just zoom in on one of those for a second, daylight. This daylight autonomy is really just a way of measuring how often you can get by without having to flip on a light switch. And as you can see here, the Klein loop design more than doubles the amount of free natural light you get. That is a huge win for your well-being and for your wallet. Now, to really get the benefit of that cool Mobius interior, we kind of need a new way to measure space. So they came up with something called equivalent usable area, or EUA. It goes beyond just simple square footage and actually calculates how useful a room is all day long. And the goal here is to boost a room's EUA by 10 to 15%. Now, that might not sound like a crazy number, but trust me, in the world of microhousing, that is a massive leap forward in efficiency and just pure functionality. So what does that really mean for you? It means you're getting so much more bang for your buck. A 200 square foot room can actually feel and function like a 230 square foot room, all thanks to some really smart transformable design. But the Klein loop is so much more than just a marvel of clever engineering. It's really a vision for a whole new kind of community, a vertical village where neighbors can actually connect with each other and really thrive.
And this is the core idea right here. It's about empowering residents to create their own little micro-neighborhoods, turning a simple apartment building into a true living community.
Those shared pockets we talked about, they're more than just spaces, they're blank canvases. Each two-floor loop of neighbors can decide what to do with their shared pocket. I mean, it could become a quiet library, a garden growing fresh food, a little playground for kids, a workshop for makers. The possibilities are totally endless, and they're defined by the people who actually live there. And this is all possible because of this really cool micro-governance model. Each loop gets its own small budget to manage its space, which gives residents real power and a shared sense of ownership. It's the perfect recipe for a vibrant community, something you're just never going to find at the end of a long, lonely hallway. So what's the big takeaway from all this? The Klein loop model is a total game changer. It takes the most wasteful, useless part of a building and turns it into its most valuable asset, a source of light, air, energy, and, most importantly of all, community. So it leaves you with this final thought. The future of city living isn't about building bigger, it's about building smarter. And if we can reclaim almost a quarter of our buildings for people, not just for passages, what kind of cities could we create then? I mean, the possibilities are just breathtaking.